family. Hope you guys are having a great day today. Today is Christmas Eve. It is December the 24th of 2024. And I wanted to come back to you live again today just to chat a little bit and see how you guys are doing. Again, I apologize for the shaking. I do have the phone on my dash. And as I'm heading to work, I wanted to get up, say good morning to you guys, and see how you're doing today. See if you have finished your Christmas shopping and if you are prepared for Christmas. So again, want to say good morning to you. Hope your day is going well. Want to interact with you guys here in the community a little bit more, and that's going to be my plan, to do a little bit more. I'm still going to be making videos, but I definitely want to interact with you guys a little bit more. So I think I have a little bit better understanding of the live chat, and I think I can see comments a little bit better now. Elaine, good morning. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me here on the live this morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. Feel free to share in the comments, like, subscribe to the channel so you can get more like these. I just picked a topic just to talk about. If you guys have nothing to talk about, or no questions, or anything that you want to talk about today, but I did pick a topic to talk about. And the topic of the live this morning is how to stay motivated when life feels overwhelming. And that's a good thing to know. And I believe we can glean from a lot of information about motivation today. But more importantly, I think there's something that's bigger than motivation. There's a need that we need that's more than just being motivated when life feels overwhelming. And I'm going to talk about that because I talk about motivation all the time, but I've come to understand that there's a little bit more than just being motivated to do something or to be a certain way. That we need as people, and that's not going to be enough. So we're going to talk about that a little bit here today. But before I get into it, I do want to, like I said, just kind of open it up, see how you guys are doing here this morning, see if you've prepared for Christmas. And I want to also say, I want you guys to remember the real reason for the season, right? I know you've heard that cliche. Jesus is the reason for the season. We've heard the cliche many times. That's the truth, though. Jesus is the reason for the season. And remember that it's all about him. Don't get so caught up into the gift giving, into the people pleasing, into the self-sacrificing, that we forget the real reason of what it's about. And it's about Jesus Christ. And it just surprises me that a lot of people get caught up into that stuff when Christmas comes, as if Christmas is so much more special than salvation. A lot of people treat Christmas as if it's bigger than salvation, right? Jesus is the reason for Christmas. And it's important not only that Jesus was born and came down, but he also died. And so a lot of times for me, when I think about Christmas, I think about Jesus being born, but I also think about what Jesus was born for. And that's really what Christmas does for me. It makes me think about why Jesus was born. Not the fact that he was born, but why he was born. He came to this earth. That's huge that he came. But then he also had to leave. And that is just as equally as important as him coming. So let us remember to celebrate Jesus Christ tomorrow. And remember, again, do not get caught up in all of the gift giving and the people pleasing. It's cool to give gifts, but we tend to go overboard to where it looks like we're just pleasing people at that point. When the wise men brought gifts to Jesus, it wasn't that Jesus told them exactly what he wanted. But yet, when we look at Christmas and the way Christmas is now, you got to get people exactly what they want. Like, I don't know why that's been the notion now, that if you don't get people exactly what they want for Christmas, then you're not doing it right. I don't know where that notion came from. Like, it's a gift. Gifts are from the heart. Gifts are given. No matter if it's exactly what you want or not what you want, it's cool to get someone what they want. That would be great if you're able to do so. But if you're unable to do so, then do not put yourself into a people-pleasing situation where you're trying to please people and keep relationships by getting them exactly what they want if you're unable to do so financially. Also, don't go into self-sacrificing where you're putting your finances to the side, you're putting your way of life to the side just to get somebody something. We don't want to do that. I don't think God is about that, of you doing that, right? Self-sacrifice for yourself. Like, there's a point to where you give, but then there's also a point to where you take care of yourself first, you take care of your family, and then you give. Like, God doesn't want you to go into financial burden and stress to get a gift for someone who is also capable of buying their own things. Now, again, I'm not saying don't buy gifts. Don't be self-sacrificing where you're not taking care of yourself, because that could be your last, and that could be your bill money that you're trying to use to go buy something for your kids or buy something for your parents and all that kind of stuff, where you're not taking care of your family, you're not taking care of yourself. Like, don't do that. Like, that we need to be wiser when it comes down to holidays and buying stuff. But that's a whole nother live video. I want to talk about that more. If y'all want me to talk about that more, I will, because I felt like God was leading me down that way. But I wanna stay on the topic here, because when this video posts, people are gonna be looking for this topic, and so we'll keep on with the topic. But I definitely wanted to say Jesus is the reason for the season, right? So, how to stay motivated when life feels overwhelming. When life hits and you find yourself losing the motivation to do the thing. A lot of times we lose motivation to continue the job, working at the job that we're at. A lot of times we lose motivation to do new things, to start that business, to seek God, to seek faith. A lot of people lose motivation to go to church. They lose motivation to do things that will help better their life. They're not motivated. So, how do you stay motivated? Well, the first thing, it starts with, what is the purpose of why you do what you do? What is your purpose for being you? Your why has to be bigger than anything else in your life. I'll say that again. Your why has to be bigger than anything else in your life. Why are you the way that you are? That needs to be bigger, because the why is what drives your motivation. If you said, I'm working this job to make money because I want my daughter to have a better life, that why has to be bigger than any job you get. And so when you feel yourself challenged at your job and you think about your why, then the why and the purpose behind the why has to be bigger than your desire to leave your job. So when you think about leaving your job, then you think about the why. Let's use another example. You want to retire early. You want to have X amount of dollars in your retirement account or your investment account so that you can retire at a certain age. That has to be bigger than the job you're currently at. And that why has to push you forward in order to continue to grow yourself so that you can have a better job and make more money faster, if that's your desire and if that's your why. So when you hit those hard times, or it's starting to get challenging, or you're starting to not know knowledge that you need to know, when you're starting not to save money, when you're struggling to save money, then that why needs to be bigger. Your why about why you're saving money, why you're at the job that you're at, needs to be bigger than your current challenge. And the biggest way that I stay motivated when life becomes overwhelming for me and things just start to pile on top of my plate is I am a very optimistic person. Optimism for me comes from the things that God has done in my life. When God has showed himself in my life to do things that no one else can do, that's when optimism started to hit a little bit more for me. So I'm always a glass half full type of guy. I'm never a glass half empty type of guy. And I've trained my mindset to be that way. So when tough times come, I am always optimistic. I'm optimistic now when times are good, and I'm optimistic when times are tough. I can have $1 million in my pocket and still be optimistic that I'll have 10 million. And I can have $2 in my pocket and still be optimistic that the Lord will bless me one day to have 10 million. The amount will never change because I will always be hopeful. Why? Because I know the power of God. I know what God can do. God has blessed me with a lot of money, and God has blessed me even when I've had no money. I've still been blessed. So how do I stay motivated? Well, I've been on both sides of the spectrum. And again, you have to come to the knowledge about your why. Why are you doing it? Why do you work at the job that you work at? Why are you married? Why are you a parent? Why do you go to that church? Why don't you go to church? What's your why? That's number one. You need to know your why. Number two, after you find out your why, you need to see as far as like the strength of your why, right? Does that need to change? Some people's why needs to change. Maybe that reason that you were doing it at first supported you in that season, and you are no longer in that season anymore. So maybe why you do something needs to change. You need to change. You need to reevaluate what you're doing it for. You need to reevaluate who you are. Maybe who you are needs to change. You need to think about your why. So find out your why and evaluate the why and see if the why needs to change. And then the third thing that's going to motivate you, or how you stay motivated when life feels overwhelming, is it needs to be deeper than motivation. Your why needs to be deeper and rooted into something that's deeper than motivation. Here's why I say that. Because I talked about that at the beginning of this video that I will come back to. Motivation is temporary. So what we're talking about here, how to stay motivated when life starts to get overwhelming for you and starts to hit, those are temporary solutions. Having something that's deeper, and knowing your why and analyzing it and making sure that it's rooted in something deeper, those are temporary solutions to motivate you. But what it's rooted in that's deeper has to be something that's more than just a temporary fix. Because I can motivate you right here on this video when life feels overwhelming. And I'm going to do that for you. But I just want you to know and understand the root of this, of what you're struggling with, of the things that's hitting you. What happened? What happened here? Okay, I think we're back now. I don't know what happened there. But you're going to need more than just motivation. So motivation looks like this. I can motivate you as soon as you get off this live video to go and accomplish your dreams. Get started today. Why wait? What's holding you back from accomplishing your dreams? What's holding you back from getting started? You know, start today. Write the vision and make it plain. Write it on a piece of paper, draft, get started, take the first step today. That's motivation, right? I could motivate you to eat better. Start today. Choose a different type of lunch. Eat more fruit, eat more vegetables. Start with the fruit that you can have, and then let's start there. Motivation, right? I can encourage you today, right? Here's the thing about motivation. Again, it's a temporary fix because it will go away. I can say all of that to you today on this live video, and then as soon as you get off of this live, you can go right back into your situation. Maybe while you're talking to me, you don't feel depressed. Maybe while you're talking, you're not anxious and full of anxiety based off of your situation. Because maybe life is overwhelming for you right now because you can't pay your bills. Maybe life is overwhelming because you feel like you're about to break up in your relationship, or maybe you've broken up in your relationship, or maybe you're going through some tough times in your marriage and things are feeling overwhelming for you. And you need some motivation to know that it's going to be all right, that things are going to go better for you. And again, I could give you all that on this video, and then you can get right off of this video and go right back to being depressed, go right back to being anxious, and you're going to continue to need that fix. I need to hear it. I need to hear that it's going to be okay again. I need to hear it. And a lot of people, that's what they feel like they need. They feel like they need to hear it's going to be okay, and that's going to motivate them to continue to do the thing. That's an up and down cycle. What I'm saying in my third point that you need something a little bit more than that. You need something more than that. What you need that's a little bit more than motivation is you need discipline. You need discipline to do the thing no matter how you feel. That's more than being motivated. Life can get overwhelming when you are in a relationship, or when you are married, or when you're at a job. And when life gets overwhelming, you still got to do the thing regardless of how you feel. You still got to show up as a husband or as a wife regardless of how you feel. You still got to go to work regardless of the situations that's going on at work. You still got to do the thing and be disciplined in the thing, and be disciplined in who you are regardless of how you feel. Because the only reason why we lose motivation is just like the title says, when you feel overwhelmed, you will feel overwhelmed. It's a feeling. Those feelings come and go. And so again, when those feelings come and when they go, it needs to be in something deeper than just being motivated to keep going forward. You have to develop discipline. And how do you develop discipline to do the thing even though everything in your soul is saying to quit? Everything in your soul is saying to let it go and to move forward. How do you develop the discipline? One, you need to be true to yourself and know who you are. Again, it goes back to the first point, knowing your why, and your why being deeper than just your motivation. That's one. Two, when you develop this discipline, you need to move your feelings out of the way and realize that this is only temporary, that there is glory on the other side of whatever this is that's making you overwhelmed, whatever this is that's bringing you angst. There's glory on the other side of that. And if you quit, you won't see that glory. You won't. You won't. And see, that's the biggest thing when it comes down to having something deeper than motivation. Motivation, when that's gone, it makes you feel like you want to quit. But when you have discipline, there is no quitting in discipline. There's no quitting. There's reevaluating, there's strategizing, but there's no quitting when you are disciplined. When you find your purpose and you start operating in your purpose and you become disciplined, let's just say in your money, right? Let's say you're disciplined in your finances. There's no quitting. It's either A, I'm going to do the thing that's going to make me money, or B, I'm going to re-strategize on what I need to be doing so that I can make this money. Because once you start and you're disciplined, not motivated, disciplined. You don't quit. If I told you today how to make money, and I told you in the next 10 years you could be a millionaire, if you develop this habit and be disciplined in it, then you're going to then see what it takes in order to get there in 10 years. And you're going to have motivation that will come and go along the way. But in order for you to really see that money in 10 years, you have to be disciplined. Because as soon as the motivation hits, you're going to want to quit. It's a part of the process. So the same thing goes with life and overcoming these life challenges and being motivated. Motivation will come and go, but you need discipline. Okay? So I really hope that, this was a good topic for you. I know it's a little bit different to talk about here, being Christmas Eve, but I wanted to at least share that little piece with you guys. And what I want to do now is I want to open it up for any questions and observations that you might have. Some questions. I want to do some Q&A here today with you. A little bit of Q&A here with you around the topic, or just Q&A in general that you may have in general that you want to ask that we can talk about here today. Don't want to make the video any longer than it needs to be, but I definitely wanted to get on here and share a little bit of wisdom, knowledge that God has given me about motivation and how to stay motivated when life gets a little bit overwhelming for you, because it will. But we have to stay disciplined in what we do and in who we are. So a little bit of Q&A here today. And, I know for me, myself, a little bit of personal experience where I've realized that motivation is going to take a little bit more than that. It's going to take discipline. A little bit of mine is in the realm of finances, right? I've started to come to understand that in order for me to be successful in my finances, I'm going to need more than just being motivated to save money or to start that investment account or to start investing in stocks or to open that business. Because you can start that business, you can feel motivated, you can start saving the money, you can start, doing the steps. And then as soon as you start doing those steps and you start hitting those roadblocks, it can be real easy to quit. And so for me, it was real easy for me to get to certain places in the process. And then I think about, limiting beliefs set in, right? We talked about that yesterday on the live video, limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs could set in and be like, oh man, well, I don't think I'll be able to do that. That might take too long. I want to start this business now, and then here's a roadblock that's telling me I can't do it to the next 2-3 months when I save some money. Or I got to figure it all out now before I actually start the business. Or I can't do this or I can't do that. Or, oh, if I save money and I'm only able to save $20, I'm not saving a whole lot of money. And so therefore, maybe I don't need to be doing this. Maybe that money needs to go somewhere. All these other kind of limiting beliefs that are limiting me from doing the thing that I want to do. And so therefore, when those limiting beliefs hit, I begin to lose motivation. And so I realized I'm going to need discipline to do the thing in the process, regardless of situation. So regardless of how I feel, or regardless of what I have available to me, and regardless of the resources that I have, I'm going to utilize what I have. I'm going to do what I can do. And I'm going to be who I am in order to continue to move forward and live the life that I want to live and not allow these beliefs to hold me back. That's what I realized that I needed in my own life whenever I get overwhelmed, which is why I always think about the glass being half full. When you look at that glass, it's always half full. It's always two ways of thinking about a situation. You have a practical way and you have a hopeful way. A lot of times when you think hopeful with the glass being half full, a lot of times people look at that when they're looking at it in a logical, practical sense, as if you don't see it practically. No, I see everything of what the facts are. I just choose to believe that my God is bigger than the facts. And that's the difference. I'm not saying that it's not a fact that you might lose your job. That might be a fact. The writing is on the wall. It may be very clear. Maybe they've already talked to you already. That might be a fact. But my God is bigger than the logic. My God is bigger than the facts. He's bigger than what is. And I know this because he's proven it to me many, many times in my life. And I choose to think about that. I choose to put my faith and my trust in God more so than I do the logical path of what people seem to be. Well, this is going to happen. You don't know that, man. You really don't. And for me, in my belief, I don't know that. I used to say that all the time. Well, here's what's going to happen, because this is the truth. Here's the truth, and here's what's going to happen. I can't dictate that. We really can't. Only God knows. And when you believe in that, and you put your faith in that, then you'll start to see about the glass being half full, more so than it being half empty. As the Hebrew boy said, even if our God does not deliver us from this fiery furnace, when they're about to be placed when they've been placed to the fiery furnace, even if God does not deliver them from the fire, they will still not bow down to the king. They will still worship God. Even if you lose your job, even if you lose your relationship, even if you lose your marriage, even if your children leave you, even if these things happen, even if you don't have the certain amount of money that you want to have, even if you're not a millionaire like you really want to be, do not let that stop you from being disciplined in the principles of God. Do not let that make you lose hope and lose your motivation to do what you know you need to be doing. And I do want to encourage you, and I do want to motivate you here today. And I want to motivate you to be disciplined. I want to motivate you to start going into the habits that you need to set up for your own life, to live the life you want to live, and be disciplined in those habits every single day. And I need your why to be bigger than just something temporarily. I do not need your why to be rooted in something that's temporary. It doesn't need to be rooted in temporary things. So why you are the way you are and why you're doing what you're doing should not be for money. It should not be for food. It should not be to buy things. It needs to be something deeper that will continue to push you, to give you a reason to live. Because living for money is not a reason to live. It's not. Money will burn, and then what happens to your reason to live? It goes away. Food will rot, and then what happens to your reason to live? Clothes can be burned. Clothes will rip. Shoes will rip. And then what happens to your reason to live? That boat will rot in that water if all you're doing is to buy a boat. If you got your job just to build you a house and build you a mansion, if that's your reason for doing what you do, then that's gonna rot. It's gonna sink. You have no foundation. You have no foundation for why you are the way that you are and who you are. It needs to be deeper. Is it for your family? Is it for your children? Is it for your parents? Is it for yourself? It needs to be deeper. Hope this helps. I know that's a lot on Christmas Eve, but I really need you to take that, man, because life can be overwhelming for a lot of people right now on Christmas Eve. So I want you to take that. I hope this blesses you. Make sure that you like the video when it comes out and it posts. Make sure you leave me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know any questions that you have that you would like to have answered here on the channel. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed to the channel, so that you can get more videos just like these, more of the live videos. I pray nothing but blessings and peace over your life as you continue to walk with me on this Christian journey. And I'll talk to you next time.